We expose Priti Patel's Rwanda plan's biggest flaws on the grounds that it doesn't actually protect our borders, yet the lefties continue to be rattled by the idea of border control. Welcome to Disrupt. Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Disrupt at 6 p.m, the show that disrupts the narrative of the mainstream media, where we give you either the news stories that the media are avoiding or failing to report, or even if they do, they give you their bit of biased spin, and we try to fix that spin. First, let's talk about Priti Patel's Rwanda agreement. The plan that a lot of people thought that it's supposed to be a deterrent. Some people thought that it's supposed to be what they sold us as the idea of the main plan to protect our borders, so that when France's migrants, that's what they're called, France's economic migrants, move on a boat to Dover and just generally speaking the UK borders, then we can actually process them somewhere else. We have an agreement with Rwanda, we're going to send them there, and then everything's going to be happy. Everything's going to be safe. Yay, we've done it. And of course, we had Owen Jones and all the lefties and Starmer having a meltdown, saying that this is the end of the world as we know it. No, it's not, of course. But I've now read the details, the agreement that we have, the memorandum on this issue. Unfortunately, I have some bad news for you guys. It's not looking good. The agreement is far from perfect. It's not workable, basically. So I don't understand why the liberal lefties are not happy about this, because this is exactly what they should be happy about. Let me show you the details of this memorandum of understanding between the government of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland and the government of the Republic of Rwanda. So this is simply about some of the main bullet points I'm going to show you. There's like basically two or three big issues with this problem, and this completely kind of defeats the purpose of this whole agreement. First, this one. Number 3, details of relocation agreements. So 3.2, all transfer requests by the UK will require approval by Rwanda prior to any relocation. Now, can you see a problem here? Now, the whole point of this, and we were led to believe that they've come up with a model, a system, whereby both countries agree to a set of requirements and vetting process, so that by default, going forward, if the UK sends someone to Rwanda from here, then by default, they've already met those requirements. That's common sense, right? So you have some sort of like a checklist, and if they hit them, then just send them there. And then they could double check that when they get to Rwanda. No. Before any person, any individual is sent, they're going to send a case file to Rwanda. Rwanda needs to read individual cases every single time, and they have to approve it individually every single time, which means it's going to take about 250 million years to finally relocate about 300 people. It makes absolutely no sense why they can't have a more of a smoother operation with, as I said, some sort of bureaucratic checklist, so that they could actually meet the requirements, and then you send them there, and they could double check them at their border, Rwanda, and if they're not happy, they can send them back, right? I'm just trying to compromise. But no. Every single person needs to be double checked before we send them there. Now, this is not the biggest issue here. Second one is the biggest problem with this plan. Number 16, resettlement of vulnerable refugees. 16.1 says the participants will make arrangements for the United Kingdom to resettle a portion of Rwanda's most vulnerable refugees in the United Kingdom, recognizing both participants' commitments toward providing better international protection for refugees. Can you see what's going on here? We would send a couple of people there, and they, in return, will send a couple of people here. Well, what's the point of this? Why are we bringing people? Why are we bringing migrants from Rwanda after sending migrants from here to Rwanda? It makes no sense. It defeats the purpose. What's the point of this? Of course, this smells like bribery. It's more like, well, Rwanda, please, for the love of God, just sign this agreement so I could go on TV and tell the public in Britain that we're doing something. But it's fine. Small print in the agreement. We will take a few of your refugees as well. Why are they vulnerable refugees in Rwanda? Is Rwanda not safe anymore? If Rwanda is not the best place, then why are we sending our refugees there and migrants there? Make up your mind, Priti. This is absolutely disgusting how, by the way, there is no scrutiny on this issue on the mainstream media. Have you seen anything today, guys? Yesterday? No? Maybe tomorrow. We'll wait for tomorrow. See if the BBC, Sky, or any of these other channels are going to be talking about that. No. Do not hold your breath. Now, there's another problem here. Screening process. Right. So, the screening process is going to be absolutely chaotic because it's the responsibility of the UK to actually sort out all the paperwork. And there's no balance in terms of the cooperation between Rwanda and the United Kingdom. And I have no faith in the bureaucrats of the Home Office to have all the burden on them to do things. No. They're not going to be able to do it. They are going to mess up the whole process. And you wonder why people are skeptical about this plan. It's because of these issues. And we don't even know why, right now, the government's priority is to distract us. What they're doing is they're trying to distract the narrative in the media and in the country in general. So, for example, they're coming out and say, well, this is a good plan. It's a very important plan. Priti Patel has done this, but at the same time, Boris Johnson got into trouble because of the no confidence vote. So what we should do instead is to throw some red meat at our supporters. So they got Sajid Javid to come on TV and radio and press releases today to say that we are finally going to reform the NHS. Oh, they are finally going to reform the NHS. They're not going to reform the NHS. He's come out to say that, the NHS is like Blockbuster in the Netflix era, which is, yeah, we know that. We've been saying that for the past few years. And he's come out to say, well, yeah, I think it's a good idea to talk about some reforms. Yeah, we've been saying this since the 70s. And they're just trying to distract you. And that's all it is. Every single issue is about distraction. And the media are all about drama anyway, but not without any substance. That's my problem. Drama is fine as long as there's substance into it. But at the same time, why is it that there's no real issue to be focused on? I mean, tomorrow's episode of Disrupt, because I'm waiting for a couple of, hopefully we're going to have a couple of guests tomorrow on Disrupt on the issue of Cineworld and... oh dear God, the mob rule mentality of some of the Muslim community who come out to protest against a film, a movie that's come out on the grounds of blasphemy. I did double check. I had to wake up and check. We don't have blasphemy laws. So calm down, guys. They are offended because of a film. They went and protested and Cineworld surrendered. We are going to talk about that in detail tomorrow, in tomorrow's Disrupt, because that's, for now, I need to calm down. Everything's fine, by the way. Everything's fine. But we're gonna obviously focus on that in tomorrow's show. But for now, let's go to your comments. Every episode of Disrupt, at the end of the show, we pick your most popular comments in the comment section and from the previous videos and read them out. Let's see what we have. We have a Grey Voice saying, this is on the issue of the European Union kind of conflict inside the actual union in the Commission, and Ursula von der Leyen facing a no confidence vote, saying Remainers claimed that we had sovereignty. Yet the whole issue with Poland and the EU is that Poland says it has sovereignty and not the EU. Yeah, it is a very good point, by the way, because Remainers kept telling us that why are Brexiteers concerned about sovereignty? Now, Remainers and the Eurofederalists are attacking Poland because Poland wants their sovereignty back. I mean, it makes no sense, but that's where we are. Ray Purchase says, only 3 policies are required for Boris to win a landslide at the next general election. Get Brexit done, implementing strong anti-immigration policies, and third, absolutely nothing else needed. But making electoral fraud impossible will help a bit too. To be fair, it's the third point Ray said. The first one, get Brexit done. Some people would say, well, Brexit is done. Well, I know what Ray means. Actually get it done. The Northern Ireland Protocol, it has a lot of issues. That has to go. The fisheries, we've been very patient with this, but there's still a lot of people, fishermen, who are complaining about the whole problem. Get it done. Sort out the borders. Technically, when we say nothing else, there are still a lot of other issues, obviously, but I do get the sentiment from Ray. I mean, I would completely reform the NHS. I will sort out the benefit system, and of course, the cost of living should be basically a daily task for the government anyway, so we don't have to actually put that as a bullet point. Let's go to Don Kirk, who says, Jess Phillips is going through her Karen phase, just got caught and found guilty for not recording her money. She was a diversity hire, more commonly known as a fishwife. So, firstly, no offense to anyone who's called Karen, who is a sound conservative. You know, we don't mean you. But yeah, this is in response to earlier today when Jess Phillips yesterday was on BBC Politics Live, and she had to be educated by Matthew Goodwin on the issue of free speech. And she was just having a meltdown as usual, so that was quite fun to watch. But yeah, Jess Phillips, I don't understand why she's still relevant at this point, but it is what it is. But thank you so much for all the comments. Keep your comments coming, and of course, as usual, we will pick the most liked, most popular comments for the next episode of Disrupt, and we will read them out and give you a massive shout out. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel. I'm Maya TC, and this was Disrupt.